Try. Don't just sit there. Try it. Even if it's for a day or an hour. Nothing is going to get done if you sit at home and do nothing. And just ponder, what should I do?
All right, everyone, welcome to the DJ Seelid's Business and Career Podcast. Today we got Rod Carrillo on the show.
Good.
Doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
So he's got a record label.
Yeah.
CEO of Carrillo Music.
Yep.
You started out as a DJ, then had nightclub.
Yeah, like a promoter, and then from there I moved on to radio, program radio. Was a radio mixer, never a DJ, never a spoken DJ. I was always the mix guy, blending records and finding new music, and then from there, the fun stuff, behind the scenes type of stuff. So yeah, and then that parlayed into. As of today, we distribute 14 different record labels under the Carrillo Music Group moniker, and we also own 3 publishing companies. Publishing companies are copyright companies that own the actual copyright for the records. And between both publishing companies, we publish about 44,000 titles. So from a vast array. To simplify it, it's basically. When the record is made and it's put out, majority of the money is not made from the sale of the record or the stream of the record like it used to. It's basically made from the actual copyright of the record, right? And so therefore that copyright is internationally and it's yours for life. So basically we look after that for 44,000 different songs that are under our repertoire.
So who's paying you for that?
So basically, so the monetization of it is basically from use. So what I mean by use is that, let's say you hear your record being streamed, your record being played on the radio, your record being used for cheerleading competition, your record being used for anything. That's all use of a record, and therefore there's something called mechanicals that have to be paid on it. Mechanicals are the way that musicians make their money for perpetuity. So for instance, one of our biggest streams of revenue is TV. And especially if we get a placement on TV, which is called a TV sync, right? And if it becomes a big show, we see monetization. But what's the best part about it is that the revenue keeps coming, is that if it's such a big show and it goes into syndication, right? For years and years and years, that is one of the best ways to maximize money in music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's in perpetuity.
In perpetuity, 100%. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Can you tell the people a little bit how you got started? What's the music industry like?
Well, the music industry obviously evolves. And obviously, how I started when I was your age, 15, 16, 17 years old, doing mobile parties because I like music. Yeah. I came from a rather conservative background, and I wanted to rebel a little bit, and I was good at music.
And where were you at this point? You're from Panama.
I'm from Panama, yeah. And basically, I moved to the States when I was 14 because it was political unrest in Panama. And then from there, I started DJing, right? But when I was younger, 10, 11, 12, I used to take my grandmother's old record players and break them, trying to learn how to blend records. And then, back then there was a lot of radio stations that would play the music that I liked, but I wasn't accessible to it because of where I was living or it wasn't there yet. So it's not like today that you have vast different areas of consuming music. Back then we either had the radio, go buy the CD, go buy the tape, or go buy the album, but not for pennies on the dollar. We had to go buy an album for one record. It was like $15-$20 back then.
Yeah, it was expensive.
It was expensive, yeah. So then from then it just progressed. I mean, I always thought I was never going to be in music. And then basically through my collegiate and my graduate, part of my life, I kept doing music, but obviously, I kept doing it from the business side because everybody thinks it's all about the parties and it's all about the drinking, it's all about the life, and it's not. The most successful people in music get up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. They do emails. It's a business. People forget about that, the music industry, right?
Yeah.
Even when they say that the music industry is in peril because it's not as good as it used to be, it's still a $2 billion industry, right? And there is money to be made. The problem happens is that people forget the key part of it is business, right? Which basically, to conduct business, you're going to have discipline. You're going to have follow through, and you're going to have, ideas and marketing. And just like any other business, this business is true. Everybody thinks that we have the best because we're in the music industry, but just like you or anybody else, it's my job.
Yeah.
Right. So what people always think that the grass is greener, or it's really easy to make money in this industry. It is not. It's a lot of politics, just like any other business. It's a lot of different factors that we go into, trends, and also the public consumption changes every couple of years.
Right.
It gives you an example. When you were 5, 6, 7 years old, a record that was big would last a year, 2 years. Now you're lucky if a hit like Lil Nas lasts 6, 8 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can play it again, but they move on to something else. So the attention to detail moves really quick.
And you were telling me before this that you wake up at 5 a.m. and you're answering 400 emails nonstop.
I try to get up between 5 and 7 every morning. The reason I get up is because we have a lot of European counterparts. So basically,
for the time thing.
For the time thing, right. So a lot of times I'm done with all my emails from 6 or 9. They're finishing their work day, and then I begin on everything on the U.S. side. And usually from there, I deal with the U.S. side as far as distribution is concerned. We're distributed by Universal Music. So that's a whole other kit and caboodle with a corporate structure that I have to deal with on a daily basis. It's not as easy as communicating through text messages with them. It's very formal, a lot of emails, a lot of charts, a lot of chaotic, but it's data. So basically, and that's how we sell records, is through data.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So we have a younger audience. Could you
Sure.
tell people like how you grew that DJ business when you were in high school and you were young, and then you started actually hiring people with you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, basically, it's as I was telling you off camera, it's very a lot of people just by asking people to collaborate or to do something, you can get a huge force of people behind it, right? Now, specifically into hiring. Once you do this for long enough, you will understand within 2 seconds if the person has what it takes to be in such an industry, because it's a very cutthroat industry.
Sure.
Right. So to do these things, you sort of have to just have experience, to let you know what you want in an employee or a hire. Right. Also today too, the traditional employee role has changed. Right. So, for instance, let's say our corporate structure, for years, I had a lot of employees around. And like I told you before, now we work remotely and we work on performance, right? So obviously, if we put out, in the labor group, we put out between 100 to 150 records a year, right? Those 100 to 150 records a year, not all of them are going to be hits, or not all of them are going to monetize the situation, right? So obviously, if we just kept paying people left and right just as a regular employee, we would lose money a lot of the time. So basically, we work on a performance schedule, a minimum plus performance, right? And we work with that with 6 or 7 different people. And of course, when the good is good, the bad is bad. It's creativity that we deal with. So that's pretty much it, how we deal with hiring on our end. So.
Okay, interesting. How did you you were telling me you actually ended up making $80,000 a year when you were 18?
Yeah, I basically, when we were doing a lot of gigs, we were doing a lot of weddings, we were doing a lot of frat parties, we were doing a lot of nightclub promotions. And then basically I linked up, how it happened was when I was 18 years old, I linked up with this guy named Wally. Wally was a sound guy for the Arizona Theater Company. And I didn't have the money, nor did I know how to manage that kind of money to get gear. But he said to me, we'll partner up, I'll give you all the gear, and you use all your contacts, right, to get parties. So at the height of it, we were doing between 6 to 10 parties a weekend, from a Friday through a Sunday. What I would do is I would be the club DJ, I would have hire people to do the parties that had the same philosophy as we did, because I can be other parties, and I would keep doing radio. So instead of because in radio you don't really make that much money, but I would parlay my salary into commercial spots. So I would mix for the radio station, you give me commercial spots, I use the commercial spots to market my mobile business.
Oh, interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
So therefore, they would be like, okay, 1 and 1, makes 2, and they would be happy like that. So it was basically a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of 8 o'clock in the morning classes, and you finish work at 2 o'clock in the morning. And that's how I put myself through school through graduate school.
Today with your business, what does a typical day look like? You know, you said in the morning you're answering emails, but the rest of the day, what are you kind of doing?
Okay, so it depends. If it's Monday through Wednesday, it's a lot of preparation. Okay, what I mean by that is Monday reports. I'll give you an example today. This morning I got up and we found out that one of our releases charted on one of the DSPs. DSP is a digital service provider. That would be Apple Music, Spotify. When it comes to dance and house music, it's portals like TrackSource and Beatport. We found out that one of our releases hit the top 10 house genre chart on TrackSource.
Okay.
So right away, time is of the essence. So basically, we kick into promotion mode, meaning we have to start doing Instagram tags. We have to start doing Instagram posts. We have to start doing Snapchat stories. So I have to contact the people in England to generate these stories that say this record is top something. The reason for that is because when it's on the chart, people are going to buy it more. And the goal is to raise it. So this morning we raised it came in at 97. By the time before we started this interview, it was up to 77. And hopefully by the end of the day, it will be in the 50s.
Wow.
And if it stays in the 50s for more than a week, then it might have the chance to hit the top 20, 30, and obviously the goal is number one, but those come far few in between. So basically that's the day we set up. So this morning, as soon as that happened, it stops everything else. I have to write reports to the people who gave us the promotion, the staff, and also to our record promoters. We have promoters that we hire to do records. And what I mean by that is we put out a record. He has his contact database list, and we deal with 3 different promoters, one in New York, one in London, and one in Germany. So they basically are working the record internationally for us. So I have to be in contact with them, especially with the Germany one because of the time difference when it comes to that.
Yeah.
So that's Monday through Friday, just logistics of how to run the business and if there has to be any updates to the website or what's going on. Thursdays we focus on the tours and what's coming up for releases. What I mean by that is this. We have a rotating circle of about 50 to 60 artists that we work with at any given time. All of them are on tour. Okay?
Right.
So some might be dormant during some are more active. So right now, a DJ duo group out of Chicago, Roosevelt, Ralphie Rosario and Abel, are really big into touring right now. So like this Saturday, they're doing a party called Brute in New York, 7,000 people. They're doing a 9-hour set. So I'm dealing with all the logistics as far as who's going to do the video, who's going to do the pictures, what time is going on. And also to deal with all the contracting because we do all the contracts for all the artists. Okay. So that's pretty much then. And then basically our lightest days are usually Friday because everything is set in motion for the weekend, and it's also our release day. So basically everybody thinks that the release day is the most important. No, the lead up to the release is the most important. So basically we do a 4-week run to it, and then by the time it's released, we pretty much have a barometer to let us know which way it's going to go, if it's favorable for us or not. So usually Fridays especially Friday afternoon is more of our lax. That's pretty much it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's super cool. What would your advice be for the young people who are interested in getting to the music industry? Maybe they want to start a DJ business. Maybe they want to produce.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny though because everybody thinks, right now with the technology of social media, right? Anybody is accessible nowadays.
Yeah.
Right.
Barrier of entry is so small.
So small. And like for instance, you and I, you send me an Instagram and you send me a text message. We've been talking for a couple months, right?
Sure.
It's not that I'm higher than thou, and it's not, that a lot of people are willing to help because, for instance, we're getting older, so we want to pay it forward, right? A lot of people don't understand that. They think it's everyone's, there's enough for everybody to come around. So basically, use your resources is what I'm trying to get to, right? Look, keep persistent. If they don't answer your first one, try again. And obviously, once if it's 10 times and they don't want to get back to you, then you get the picture. But most people, after a couple times, they either say, I don't have the time or do it. I would say just keep persistent and, use your resources because there's a vast array of different resources, not just Twitter or Snap or Instagram, also too, YouTube. YouTube could be a big learning tool as far as how to, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, if you see a production 101 video and you're like, oh, it comes easy to me, then you got it in you. You're able to do it. So that's my advice to the young people. It's just basically use your resources and don't be afraid to ask. The worst thing they can say is no, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean anything, right? Yeah, and you move on. And if one person is not willing to work with you, I am sure there's 15, 20 others that are. So I just basically don't be afraid to be shut down, because basically there's going to be other people. So.
Yeah. I think that's huge. When you realize that no is the worst thing that can happen, it's liberating.
Yeah.
You can do anything.
Yeah, look, I'll give you a perfect example. 5-6 years ago, when I wanted to work with a certain artist, all I did is I sent her a tweet, and I sent her another tweet, and then within 15, 20 minutes, I got another tweet. And if I didn't do that, I'd never be working with her again. So I think it's important. And obviously, too, be professional. It doesn't matter whether you're 15 or 40 something, be professional, because that's a common language for everybody involved in business.
Yeah.
Especially with me, if I see because I deal with a lot of young producers, the way that they format an email, the way that they communicate with me tells a lot about a person. I know sometimes, you don't think it does, but it does. It's a very big thing. So I guess if you take away from everything I've been blabbing about, it's basically don't be afraid. If you have a dream, if you have a wish, just do it. Just, let yourself go, because the worst thing they can say is no.
Right.
So
what you just said is don't let your dreams be dreams, just do it.
Yeah.
there was a meme about that with Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, really? Yeah.
That's also, it's so true, right?
Yeah. You just, I've had a lot of talented producers that are sitting in bedrooms that couldn't get their talent to the world because they were scared. And look, I understand it's okay to be nervous. It's okay to second guess yourself, but just put yourself out there once, right? And if it doesn't work out, do it again.
Yeah.
Right? Because the worst is when you first do it and they tell you no, then you hide under a shell. That's not beneficial to you because you're selling yourself short.
Totally.
Yeah.
Did you have that initial fear?
Oh, 100%. 100. Look, I heard from people that I couldn't produce. I couldn't DJ.
Yeah.
Because I didn't party, I wasn't a good producer. I wasn't a good DJ. And now I'm sitting here 25 years later, and I'm still doing it, right? If I would have listened to everybody in the last 20 years, I should have been given up like 100 times.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you weren't listening. You're coming your ears, you're going.
Yeah, well, look, did I have nights? I'm not going to lie, like I'm Superman. Did I have nights? I'm like, oh God, of course, right? But after you mope and you soak up your wounds and you get up in the morning and you really love this, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally. Did you know you loved it from the beginning?
Yeah. I mean, to me, to phrase an old artist, like, a day without music is a day without sunshine for me.
Sure.
So, I like it. I like the hustle. I like the how should I put it into words? I just, because I feel so strongly about this. I like getting told to be no.
Yeah. Because
sometimes without failure, there's never going to be success, right? And that, that thing that I have in me that they tell me no, and then we go ahead and the public likes the record and charts it, that's the best. Or when your peer just gives you that's good. That's something, that's the best payoff that I could get. So it's in me. I know nothing else. I don't want to know anything else. I love what I do, and I know I'm very lucky to say that.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
And I think I have that same thing. Yeah. There's this weird thing in me where when I ask out a girl and she says no,
right,
it's like it's just a step to a yes.
right. And then you come back a couple of times. Yeah, 100%. Yep.
That's awesome. How important do you think it is for people to do something that they enjoy, that they're interested in, they love? A lot of people, they value college so much, they're spending money on it, then they grow up and they're an accountant for 20 years and they never liked it.
I have a very good synopsis on that. It's basically, in my field with the guys I grew up with, 90% of the people that I grew up with in college and went to the, financial forecaster, stock market, accountant, are not doing it anymore. right?
They moved. They did something else.
They moved something else because they hated it, right? It's important. Now, obviously, when you're in your teens and 20s, you're going to have to pay your dues. I get it, right? But where you go from there, too, is it's different now, you know, because as of my generation, right, we thought college was the way to go. With today, with the young kids, you don't really need to go to college to make a lot of money or be successful, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's for every person, you know. Of course, I'm going to tell you it's important, you know, it's important to go to college. But I also will tell you it's equally as important to travel and learn how to be around people, because that's a degree on its own merit.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, when you get a 4-year degree or an 8-year degree or a 12-year degree, you still have to learn how to communicate and talk to people from different origins, sexes, and race, right? And that's a whole other conversation that we could have, right? So to answer your question directly, yeah, it all depends on the person. For some people, a 4-year degree might not be it. For some people, I know a young man that I mentored, that he went to college and he hated it, and then I told him to, you know, go do a trade, right? And at 24, he just bought his first house, he bought a second house, and he became an electrician, and he's happy as anything. And he works from 5, he's done at 2, and he's got a good lifestyle. But a 4 or 5-year degree and wearing a suit wasn't for him.
Really?
Now, by no means is he a failure. I call it a win.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
This is based on the person.
I'm based on the person, right?
That's so cool. Well, and I like how you're saying use your resources.
Yeah.
Education is important. It's not college for everyone, but sometimes it's reaching out to those people around you,
Right.
like I did to you,
Right.
or just soak it up, YouTube, whatever.
Right, soak it up, or even like, you know, for instance, like, you know, people like, I don't want to be, you know, I don't want to use my mom and dad. Use your mom and dad. They're your network.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've taught my son that the same thing. I'm like, use it. You know what I mean? So, my son is putting out records now, you know,
Yeah.
and basically it's because he grew up with all this network of producers and they want to work with him, you know, but he fought that forever. And as soon as he gave in, now he's got records coming out.
Yeah. What is it? Cello? Is that what
Yeah,
he's playing?
the cello house. Yeah, he plays the cello. He plays the cello, and you know he's got a second one coming in a couple weeks. And I'm just giving you an example. Is what I'm telling, like what you read to Charlie. It's like use your resources.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid, because at the end of the day, they might open the door for you, but you got to show them that you have the talent. Because the people who referred you to just opened the door. They just did something nice for you, but use them. So.
Right. So, and there's that phrase that success is, or luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
100%.
And so Soleil, your son, has this awesome opportunity,
Right.
and then he just needs to put in the preparation.
Preparation to do it, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know he's learning now. Now he's getting very meticulous. He understands it's a long time, and you know, and now and also too, like that preparation now it helps out when he's applying to colleges,
Yeah.
because people want to see that. See what I
Sure.
mean?
Totally.
So yeah, I am a big proponent for the arts. I think the arts are very crucial to people, for young people especially,
Yeah.
because it opens up other areas in business that, you know, it makes you think outside the box. And when even if you're in the most corporate structure, what they're looking for is for someone who thinks outside the box to become a problem solver. And we in the arts are problem solvers.
Yeah.
It's true.
I think you're right. And I've had some cool experiences. So I'm just starting this business career podcast right now, but I actually had this idea. I played the piano a
Right.
little bit, and I was playing the piano on a Sunday, and that's when I have some of my best business ideas.
Right.
I was like, I need to start a podcast. It was just like that. And I wrote it down, got it going.
Right.
And so I really found, and even with athletics too, sometimes that music, it just opens up this new thing in your head.
Yeah. My biggest thing is also too, you know, even though I do music full time, it's different though because I do the business part of it, right? So when I need, you know, my moment, as I call it, is basically I'm on a plane listening to music, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's how I decide for that. This is how we're gonna handle this. This is how we're gonna market this. You know, at the gym, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, it's important. You know, you know. Because if think about it, people think music is also, making music especially, is very mathematical. Because we work in beats and time, measures, and that's all mathematics, right?
Sure.
We're problem solving.
So let's talk about some cool stories that you've had.
Sure.
I was talking to your son, and he said that You almost got a song in a Fast and Furious.
Yeah. There was an artist that we worked with, Julissa Veloz, and basically we were the final 2 records, and we didn't make it to the last episode of it was the last Fast and Furious movie that they did. Fast and Furious movie that they did. Besides that, right now we have about 4 records that are up for HBO shows that we'll find out in the next 60 to 90 days if we're gonna make it. And then on top of that, we just finished. We just licensed 3 records to Comedy Central for a new sketch comedy they're coming out with second quarter 2020. So yeah, we have our hands in a lot of different pots. So
awesome.
Yeah, one of our artists, Terry B, she's out of Germany. She just hit #1 in the soul charts in the UK 2 weeks ago, and now because of that, she's starting a 17-city tour that commences in 2 weeks in Hamburg, Germany. So that's another thing that we have going on right now.
That's awesome. So you have a lot of stuff going on in Europe, even more than the United States.
Yeah, I travel about 200,000 miles a year. And so we have a lot. We are heavily focused in the Eastern European countries, as well as the UK. Of course, the US is very important to us, but sometimes it's easier to break records over there and bring them back to the States.
Oh, okay.
As is sometimes when we break a record in the States, it's much easier to bring that to the UK.
I wanted to talk a little bit about the business stuff.
Sure.
What would be your advice to people who maybe have a business or making a little money and they're interested in scaling it? They want to take it to the next level. They want to. When you're scaling a business, you need to hire. You can only grow it as fast as you can hire, right? So, what's the best way to scale a business?
Well, to me, the best way to scale a business is basically when you know you have a product and there's a need and a want, and you have marketing behind it, right?
Yeah.
It's how to grow that exponentially, but also doing it smart, right? Mm-hmm. And that also could be partnering up with other people. People are afraid to partner with other people, and that could make it scale even farther with minimizing the risk for yourself, right? Because if someone partners with you, they share in the risk with you as you grow, right? These companies that want to keep hiring, and then all of a sudden they're getting complacent as they get old because they think they can do it by themselves. Basically, it's better, I believe, to skew the market not skew the market. It's basically survey the market, right, and see what it's at. And also, too, there might be another person that can do it with you. Mm-hmm. And also, don't be afraid to work with other people that rival your say or your rule or whatever. Like I always say to myself, a good manager manages himself out of a job, right? So they can do the job, and sometimes people tend not to work with people who they're afraid they're better than them.
Oh, okay.
Right? That's important.
You want to start yourself.
Right. Like, I want to work with someone who's smarter than me when I'm in the studio because I'm gonna munch whatever I can away from them in knowledge, right? If I work with someone who's lateral to me, we're not gonna grow.
Right. Yeah. So you're saying, but the people you're partnering with, you want to partner up?
Right.
Is that what you're kind of saying?
Yeah, I partner up. So for instance, now listen, it's on every certain situation when it comes to business, what the play is, like we call it. What's the play, right? So I just partner up with some producers from Italy, right? Well, they have a track record of having 4 or 5 people on The Voice. They have a record of sending some people to American Idol, both in England and in Poland and in Australia, right? So that's an up for me.
Yeah.
Right? Because I've had people in American Idol and The Voice here in the States. They've had it there, so maybe we could work something together. Now, the only time that would be the other way around is that if someone is, let's say, lateral to you or a little bit beneath you, but you see, and this is where the risk and then the gut tells you, they have the talent that you, with your resources and your knowledge, could help. Because at the end, that becomes a win for you.
Okay.
Right? So it's on a case-per-case basis. Right? On who you choose to work with. And like I said, it goes back to experience. Even though you're young and you're starting this, you're starting to form your own opinion base when it comes to business and dealing with the mobile DJing and the podcast or whatever is concerned. And you know where you want to grow it, and you just have to find like-minded people that want to grow it in the same capacity like you do.
So you're talking about vision.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How important? What are some things that you do when you're working with people as far as having the same vision? Like,
okay. So a lot when you work, especially when you collaborate with people, there's a lot of opinions that are going to be thrown at each other. You know, also too, a lot of people don't possess the following: the end step, the end vision, right?
the end in mind.
In mind, right? So if we're producing a track, I don't like this. It's not going to do well. I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
But people don't. It's like building a house in my mind. How I think about it, right? People just want to move into the house and they want to make it pretty, right?
Yeah.
They don't understand that you need to have foundation. They don't understand you have to have sticks to make the frame. You don't understand that you have to paint the house, do stuff for the house, right? The same thing when it comes to music or a project, right? You have to have the basis for it. You have to have the production. You have to have the drums. You have to have the instruments, right? You have to have a marketing plan. You have to have an art. You have to have a social plan. And you have to have a distribution plan, right? At the end, that's what makes a success. Not when I'm complaining and I don't agree with it on in the first part of it, you know, in the conception of it, right? So yeah, you're gonna have to be hard-headed and have your own vision, because a lot of people don't understand the vision you're going to, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes your end vision might not be the end all and be all. It might fail,
Sure.
right? But I'll tell you, if you keep to your vision, 9 out of 10 times, eventually you're going to succeed.
But it takes patience.
Oh, 100%. It takes patience, and it also takes secureness on the risk that you might fail.
Yeah.
You know, and you might feel like you're like this big at the end of it. But that to me is learning and growth. So for the next time, you won't make the same mistakes that you made before. So
Yeah, so not having a fear of failure and then learning from your failure.
right. And also too, once you fail, that fear that you have afterwards, you never want to feel that again. So you will make sure that within yourself, you know, that pushes you to do the best job possible.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm curious. So you talk about your big like business plan and vision kind of thing. How do you ever write out your plan, or how much of it is just in your head? And
Oh no, I write out. I'm a big note taker as far as in the computer or my phone is concerned. Yeah. Of course we have goals, and you know, and every year I always base our goals. Are we doing better than we did the year before?
Yeah, just always improving.
As improvement, right? You know, now improvement doesn't mean financially either. You know, improvement could also be with the goodwill, the reputation, the marketing, or what's going on with the company, right? Because after a while, you know, that business will catch up, and basically that's what I mean by like self-evaluating, right? You could be a multi-million-dollar corporation and have a bad reputation, right? That's going to hinder you, right? Case in point, Apple. Apple reported last quarter, you know, less than, you know, dismal what they're used to, you know, sales, but the goodwill of the Apple people, you know what I'm saying, of the Apple user is going to keep it afloat.
Yeah.
They come out with a new iPhone, they drop the price to get that back up again, so they're back up again. You see what I mean? So.
Right.
It's all about, it all, at the end of the day, the numbers don't lie. It's all about dollars and cents, but also, too, the way that you conduct business is very important for self-evaluation for people.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so what you're talking about with Apple, that's all brand.
Brand, yeah.
And so how did you grow your personal and business brand? And also, so if you guys don't know, Carrillo Music, they got over 122,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
Top 10 record labels.
Yeah, and with Billboard. Basically, you know, it's just keep at it. You know, brand, and anything that we throw. You know, and it, you know, 122,000 followers, or you know, top 10 record labels. It took us 14 years to get to that point. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, you know, I woke up yesterday and I wanted to, you know.
Yeah, people think they'll be famous overnight.
No, you know, and there's consistency, you know. For a lot of the guys that are labels and stuff, we've been doing this for 20, 30 years. We've been doing the same thing, and sometimes there's up and down. So there's a record label called Defected. You know, Simon is the owner of that label. I've known Simon for 30 years. He has huge success right now, but Simon's doing the same thing that he was doing 30 years ago. Of course, with new talent, but the success finally came. Again, you see what I'm saying?
And that's that consistency.
That consistency, you know. Some years, well, we've had a good year this year. 2 years ago, we didn't have a good year. Next year, I don't know what holds, but we're going to keep doing what we do, because everything's a fluctuation, in business, and you're not going to have a huge run every year for 20 years. Mm-hmm. There are going to be ups and downs. Right. So, yeah, just be consistent, and that's part of that vision.
Yeah.
Don't follow trends, do you, is what I always tell, a couple of years ago, there's a huge EDM trend. Yeah. Now it's a huge, let's say, hip hop or trap trend, right? Well, do you. If you want to do that, that's you. But don't do it because you think it's going to get you famous.
Right.
Right? Do the art because you want to do the art.
Yeah, don't pander to the likes and what's popular.
Right. Because it's all, look, we have publicists, we have influencers, that basically, that means nothing. Sorry, you know what I mean? To me, yeah. Does it mean that it attracts people? Yeah, because that's just human nature. They want to see the likes numbers go up, right? But that's also, you also have to have quality in your work, and that's important as well. Not just the likes, But in today's society, you do need the likes to get the product and the name out there and the brand, 100%.
What do you think of quality versus quantity? It's pretty important to put stuff out there on social media, but you also want it to be good. So
yeah, you're right. Well, for business, you mean, not these young people that are taking 10,000 selfies to put one up, right? Yeah,
business.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's important to have, especially with us too. We post every day, right? But we have releases that come out left and right. So. For me, for music, now we've been doing this for 20 years, so I know our quality's there because that's what we do all the time.
Yeah, your experience.
We're experienced at it. But in today's music too, you have to have quantity because, like I said before, it's short-lived. A good record, so we have to keep putting stuff out there, And eventually, if the new things will sell the back catalog of what we've done before, because people look like that way. We had a record this year called Roosevelt the Album. It was one of the top. It was one of the top 10 dance electronic albums by Billboard magazine for 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, that was great for us, right? But it sold a bunch of back catalog because people were interested in the label group.
Oh, okay.
You see what I mean? So you have to keep putting stuff out there.
Do you have any general advice for young people out there, pretty much age 17 to 25, not sure what they want to do with their life? Just what should they do? What should
I would say experience. What I mean by that is try as much things as you can.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's going to let you know.
Right.
Right? Try. Don't just sit there. Try it. Even if it's for a day or an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It will tell you right away what to do. And, you might not know, but you have an inkling. You have something that you like, whether it's video games or, whatever it might be. Building stuff.
Yeah. Dancing, cars.
Right. Cars, whatever. There's something out there that's gonna basically get you interested, but nothing is gonna get done if you sit at home and do nothing. And just ponder, what should I do?
Yeah.
Right? I believe in taking into effect and trying stuff because that will let you decipher what you really want to do. And sometimes too, if you're 17 to 25, you think you're taking this road, and when it's going to divert you to a different way that you didn't even know you were going to go that way. Yeah.
So you think keeping that open mind's a good thing?
Yeah, it's very important. Very important.
Well, I'm a big believer in the trying new things. That's why I wanted to start this podcast because I talk to people from different industries. We interview different industries. And although that's important to understand that and kind of hear what's your life like, how do you like it, what are the logistics, it's important to go try it, go do it, and experience it yourself then otherwise you wouldn't know if you like it.
Right, 100%. I agree with that 100%.
Do you have any financial advice? What should they do with their money as far as saving, spending?
Yeah, look, I wasn't very good at the financial things. Thank God, I was able to have a group of people and including my spouse to help me out in this area. Yeah, you got to save money, but because also too, when you have a vision, when you have a tunnel vision, like I do sometimes, you want to put everything into this, right?
Yeah.
And not understand, because when you're hard-headed and stubborn and you're type A, you want to be able to do it. So financial planning is very crucial. Now, I'm not going to give you any advice as far as because I did it the right way. I had a lot of help. and I ask people for help for that. So that's very important, which goes back to don't be afraid to ask when you're not an expertise of something.
Do you mind? Can we check out what you got here? Can you show us what things sound like?
Yeah, well, I mean, basically, this is just a session that we have open in Cubase. It's a record that we haven't even finished. I'll switch this around here so you guys can see. And these are all the elements that we do to do a record. These are all the tracks that we did for a record, and basically different parts of it. So like when we play it, it's just a record that we're working on right now, and we can decide for, like, let's say for instance, this is just a, that's a drum loop that we played and we're putting it in right now. The second one would be a supplemental kick that we go ahead and I just throw those two out, and then we put them together. This is a track that we started working about 3-4 months ago that we haven't finished. The producers are coming in next week to finish it. So yeah, basically everything is played on the keyboards. Sometimes we bring in violinists, cellists, obviously Soleil. We also bring guitar players in to give us stuff, but pretty much we're an electronic-based production company.
So people who come in and like sing, or they've got their main thing. Is this you're doing this, or who's
oh my God! As far as when they come in here, any of us that work in the business, producers that come in, fly in and work with me, either I do it or whatever they do. Backing tracks, basically, which is called the production and the making of the tracks. Could be them that just send me their sessions, or we can do it in-house as well. Okay. So it's a very collaborative effort. What I mean by that is, like, let's say on a given night, let's say we're going to record a vocal. We need a beat for this guy. So I'll come in and play some things, and then Claris, one of our guys, comes in and lays something on top of that. And then by 10 o'clock at night, someone's in the booth, getting the record done. Okay, then they fly out. Then we stick with it, 2-3 months, get it done right, play some momental parts, and then get it out to the people, get it out to the public.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
That's
it's awesome. Just very, I hate to say this, it's very organic, it's very free-flowing. Yeah. It's not like, okay, we have to get this done in this. There is no formula, basically.
It's not like some product, I mean, it's a product, but it's not like a traditional product business.
Right, so like say the Roosevelt album that, we did very well with this year, that took about 8-9 years to finish. Like literally, we went back and Ralphie and Abel found other stuff, brought it up to 2019 standards, you know what I mean? And then we put it out, it's all very, the records, we have 3 records coming out in the next 2-3 weeks that were done 6-7 months ago. But yet, we have Soleil's record that comes out next week that we did 2 weeks ago. Okay. It all, it just all depends.
It all depends. What's a typical song? How long does it take, like a single, for it to be released from start to finish?
I mean, it could, like I said, it could be a week. It could be 2 months. Some records you're done in 40. 2 of our biggest hits, Take Control and Breathe, took us 45 minutes. You know what I mean? I mean that's the truth. Wow. A lot of, even if you're into music knowledge, look up Neil Diamond's records, look up all these different older artists. Yeah. Some of the biggest hits were like the last record that they needed to be on the album before they got out, or
they just did it real quick.
They just did it real quick, and then boom, it goes like that. Then there's others that they're meticulous about. We overthink. We need this, we need that, we need this, and then they bomb. And then there's others that come easy. So it's all on a per project basis, like I was telling you. Now, obviously, once the record is done and we have to get it to market, our distributor needs about 4 to 6 weeks to set it up. What I mean is sending it to all, to Spotify, to Deezer, to everybody that the companies that provide the music consumption for the public, and then that gives us also 6 weeks to do a marketing plan for our PRs, our socials, and everything like that. So,
Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna get selfish real quick.
Sure.
How should I grow my DJ business? How do you get those good sales and really take it like a DJ?
Word of mouth.
Okay, so that takes time.
Yeah, right? word of mouth. Yeah, you're only as good as your last gig.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's the best thing. You're only as good as your last gig, your last mix, your last production. Think that way, because it keeps you hungry.
Right.
Right. It keeps you hungry.
It's interesting. Once you do a job for $600, all of a sudden you're kind of like the $600 DJ, right?
And then from there too, like eventually you're gonna grow and you're gonna start doing weddings. Yeah. You're gonna start doing that stuff, and that's high ticket, But that's also a lot of headache because you got to deal with the bride, the mom, that, right? Yeah. But you know, it's very true. More money, more problems. So and more, yeah. So yeah, that's my advice to you. Just keep hounding. Like for instance, you know, you being 17, right?
Yeah. 17.
Yeah. You being 17 years old and you're doing this gig on Halloween and it pays you well. Man, I wish I was 17 making that money. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're doing something right. Especially if you tell me that you're gigging 2-3 times a month or maybe even more, I think you're doing stellar.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I really do. DJ C-Lids, right? Yeah. So yeah, no, I think you're doing fine. And you know, obviously word of mouth, and then eventually, you know, get some money together. You could do a fair. You could do like a wedding fair to get your services out there with some video. And the best thing now too, since everybody, you know, wants to be famous overnight, posting videos of you DJing or posting videos of your floor, not you DJing, because you could be DJing in here and you know there's nobody in front of you. That's very good marketing, especially now because a lot of people hide what they really want to do, you know, because social media allows you to do that.
Yeah.
So if you do actual promotional videos of your crowds or people dancing to you, excellent.
Awesome. Do you think I should get someone else to be filming? Like I should get someone to film one of the
Yeah, 100%. I always say that. It's very like last week we did a show in Amsterdam, and I hired 3 TV crews to do that because of the fact that they wanted to shoot, they wanted to get into the bar, right, and they wanted to shoot. Not just that though, because you know the gig is a one night thing. The promotion is 4 weeks beforehand or after the fact that you're going to use that footage for that one night, right? That's going to benefit you for future business when it comes to DJing.
Right.
Yeah, because you know a performer wants to perform, right? But the performance is only one night. The performance is there and gone.
Yeah.
What are you going to do after? Well, you use that performance to get the footage and get the resources that you need to keep working.
Right.
Yeah. So yes, hire someone to come shoot you.
Okay, just my first concern though is, oh well, there goes all my profit, right? It takes money to hire someone to do that.
Right, but you also have friends and you have a camera, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, you can do it for cheap.
You can do it on the cheap, right? You know, throw them $20-$40. Yeah, you don't need to shoot for 4 or 5 hours. Just tell them what the meat of the gig is.
Yeah.
You know, and then boom, come shoot it. You know, really when you do your reel, you can get 25 minutes of. Give them like $20-$30 for the hour. Give them your camera, shoot it for the reel. How long is your reel really going to be? 2 minutes?
Right, yeah, the actual video.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good, I'll do it.
So, yeah, you know, you'll see. You know, especially when you have a gig. So, let me give you an example. Last week we did something called House is My Disco in Amsterdam. We all performed there, and it was packed. So we shot the video. And as of this morning, we just sold the party to, you know, we're going to go to Ibiza, we're going back to Amsterdam, we're going to Barcelona, we're going to Madrid. Off the video we shot last week.
Wow.
See what I mean?
So the video brought you so much success and more business.
Right, yeah. And basically, too, we were up for a couple of tours and stuff like that. You send the video, you know, here's your proof.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, because especially when you start doing higher paid gigs, they're going to want to see what you do. Yeah. You can tell them till you're blue in the face.
Yeah, but they want to see it.
Right.
What is it?
Yeah. Well, we when I was in postgraduate, we started doing weddings. We had a site called Wedding DJ for You. We did like 600 weddings a year. We would do all these bridal fairs and stuff like that, right? And basically, once we started getting gigs, brides wanted to go to one of our weddings, right? To see what we did. So we would ask hey, listen, a professor, I can't even talk right now. A future client wants to see what we do. Do you mind if they come in for 15 minutes? Yeah. You know, and they would come in, you know, not something that was, you know, not trying to be too intrusive on the couple, you know, and then would shoot film back then and then show it as well. Yeah, it's very important. It's your resume.
Right. Yeah.
As far as for the DJ part of it, yeah.
Well, and it's interesting. Every person who's there is also a potential, you know, future client. But once you start filming it, all of a sudden you have the whole world's open to you because of those social media platforms.
100%. And also too, it's very important, especially, you know, for your generation, is also to tag you on everything from the party. Yeah. You know, keep shouting that out when you're DJing on Halloween or wherever you're DJing. You know, hey, you know, hit up C-Lids on da-da-da-da-da-da, because that's all just marketing.
Right.
Because there's one day I need a DJ. Wait. There's C-Lids. Wait, call him. He was good at that party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something interesting I do is I do take song suggestions if they're
Fair. Yeah.
And so I have my business cards, and on there it says DJ C-Lids with an Instagram thing, and I tell them DM me on Instagram for the song suggestion. I'll see it right on my phone, so it makes it easy.
Right.
But also now I'm connected with them on Instagram.
100%. That's smart. That's marketing.
Yeah.
That's business. That is business. Yeah. Everything in our life, and you know, in my life and in your life as well, and anybody's life who's watching this, it's about databases, right? Your databases are your connections, your resources, right? Mm-hmm. You're only as good. You're younger. You are building your database
or your network.
Your network, same thing. Yeah, your network, right? But basically, it's all that. What you're doing right now is you're building your network, building that database of people, of resources, you know, of venues, of prospective clients. You know, it's who you know now in today's tech world. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
And it can only help you.
It's true. I agree.
Yeah.
Well, Rod, thanks so much for taking the time.
No problem. Thank you for coming out here. And I know we've been trying this for a couple months, so we finally got to sit down and do this. So I wish
it's
you the
that
best
consistency.
of luck. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and he was very consistent. Anyway, I wish you the best of luck, man. You got a bright future.
Thanks so much.
So, man,
I really appreciate it.
Take it easy.
Where can people connect with you?
Sure. Pretty simple. You know, we do dance music. So it's Dance Music Label. At Dance Music Label on Twitter. At www.dancemusiclabel.com website. Instagram at Dance Music Label, and Facebook. Facebook/Dance Music Label. Pretty simple.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much. Catch you next time.
Bye-bye.